Hello and welcome back to another video. Today here again on Gran Turismo 7 to take a look at another of the latest vehicles added in the most recent update, which is this BMW M2 Competition. It's available from Brand Central for 91,000 credits, putting it in the middle of the prices of the two other new vehicles, and is available in two boring whites, a black, obviously the blue, and brown. So the M2, of course, is essentially a 2 Series BMW with the 3-litre straight-six engine from the M3 and M4 squeezed into that slightly smaller engine compartment somehow. Not quite sure how they do that, although it's not exactly a small car. This is probably more the size that the 3 Series used to be back when that first came along. BMW sell the competition version of this as being a slightly better competitionized version, although it's essentially a facelift of it. It replaced the outgoing M2, so it's just a slight update to that car, a few visual changes and a few performance upgrades, but nothing groundbreaking. I think now though it's time to head back to the upgrade shop to see if we can build the M2 Competition for this 600 performance point touring car race, which I haven't done yet. At the moment we have 405 horsepower, 1,500 kilos, and we're at 548 performance points, just over. So we've got a little bit to play with, but not loads, to try and squeeze it into that category. Before we get to performance upgrades though, of course we need to do some visual modifications to the car, starting with the wide body, which is available on most things in Gran Turismo somehow, although some of them aren't all that extreme and they do cost a lot, but it's something that must be done. Doing a wide body, of course, means the fitment is now horrible, so we need to change the wheels to make that look a bit better again. I'm going to start by looking through what I already have. I actually really like the classic style BBSs on this. That's a bit of a look. Not sure I'm going to go for that though. I think I'm more likely to go for... I always end up going for BBS wheels for some reason. I think I'm more likely to go for something like those. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for these, which of course then need... Shall we make them one? No, let's leave them at 19s. It looks big enough, but we of course have to do the wider rim width and offset to make it fill the arches a bit more. We will also add some suspension when we get to upgrades, so it'll sit a bit lower. So let's take a look at some of the custom parts available, starting with the front, where we can get a small carbon fibre or a ridiculous carbon fibre. Let's go type A, a little bit more subtle. Side, similar thing, we can get subtle little bit of carbon fibre or a massive thing. And diffuser. Oh, that's actually really cool. It just sort of carbon fibrifies that rear bit. And wing. You can make it wingless. I mean, it pretty much is already. Ooh, you can do basically a carbon version of that. Ooh, now that's nice. The little carbon ducktail. I think I'm going to go with that. A little bit more than I would usually do, but it's an M2. It needs doing. Right, what have we got in here? Racing pins, bonnet pins, tow hooks. Well, it's just stupid. It doesn't take out the bit of metal to put the hook in. Okay, let's not do that. Roll cage, nah. Light bulbs, they're already pretty, yeah, modern car, they're already kind of like that colour. I probably want, yeah, there's no like number plate cut out or anything, so it looks quite good without one. What does it have as standard? It has a long thin one, so we probably want type B rear only. There we go. So I have gone in and bought some BMW paint colours to potentially respray this, although I do quite like the blue, but I feel like using a stock colour is a little bit boring, although I sort of am. Although I have just noticed it's painted over my carbon fibre ducktail, which I then can't make carbon fibre for complicated paint reasons. But anyway, I've bought Rot, Sakir Orange, which I think looks rather cool, but I do orange on far too many things. Mantis Green, Yasmarina Blue, or Taiga Metallic, which is another green, which I think looks really cool actually, but yeah, it's lost my carbon fibre. I think there might be a way to do this actually, hang on. Yeah, no, the only way to do that is to do it matte black, which kind of ruins it, because that bit down there is carbon fibre. What a stupid game. I'm going to have to... But actually, luckily, I rather like the default colour, so let's just get out of here and... Gran Turismo, let us use carbon for some parts, but not all of the car. It's not that difficult. So after those mods, I'm already at 560.25 performance points. So we've got even less to play with than I thought we had. So let me quickly equip some parts, and then we'll see if we can get into that race. Okay, so rather unusually for me, I've ended up leaving the tyres as they were. I've got nothing from Club Sports. I've put in a fully customizable computer, and an air filter, an intercooler, and a silencer, as well as clutch and flywheel and customizable suspension, and some carbon ceramics so that we can paint them a different colour. So I think I'm going to go for the blue on these. I actually do quite like the red we already have, so this was potentially a bit of a waste. And it sort of matches some of the interior details, but blue against the blue paintwork looks quite cool. So unfortunately with the anti-lag system on strong, it's at 600.55, and putting it on weak doesn't help either, because that's on 600.14. So I'm hoping we'll get away with that. I don't know how strict the restrictions are. No, it's saying 600 or less, so... I wonder, actually, if I put that on weak, does it round 614 down? No. At 600.14, I mean, not... Anyway, let me try and adjust these a bit more then. I think, unfortunately, the simplest solution is just to turn that off. Never mind. So here we go for a 5-lap race around the Nürburgring GP circuit. I'm kind of glad we kept that carbon wing rather than painting over it. It looked really cool there in the cutscene leading into this race. Kind of wishing I'd gone for better tyres. They're not brilliant, but the brakes and suspension should help in the corners anyway. And I'm hoping we have some good power on the straights compared to some of these, although there's some almost supercars in this race, I would say. Goodbye, Mazda. Goodbye, Subaru. Why is everyone going so slowly? Hello, other BMW. Goodbye, other BMW. What is this R8 doing? Come on. You can go faster than that, you're in an R8. That's one way past. Around the outside of the Viper with light contact. And past the Alfa Romeo. There's a whole pack of cars here. 22B's next. Don't know why he's braking there. There's an Aston Martin with a horrendous wing on the back. Why would you do that to a DB11? Round the outside. Oh god. He didn't like what I said about his wing being stupid. And now he's just spun me out. Right, second time lucky. Let's hope he doesn't crash into me this time. Hello, GTR. Hello, other GTR. Why are you slowing down mid-corner like that? There's a gap somewhere. And fourth, but after being killed by that Aston, that's kind of to be expected. But yeah, overall I think the BMW did pretty good. It only had 50 performance points worth of upgrades on it, and some of these other cars I kind of feel like should be higher performance class than a not very heavily modified M2. There's a Lamborghini in here. Anyway. And that is going to do it for a very first look at the BMW M2 Competition here on Gran Turismo 7. Stock, it was kind of fun to drive, but the back was swinging out all over the place absolutely madly, although it still did that a bit when upgraded. Has some cool visual options. For example, that ducktail's quite unique, I haven't seen that on anything before, and of course your usual wide body and wheel options. It's a shame you can't paint it properly and keep the ducktail carbon whilst respraying it, but that's just one of the kind of quirks of Gran Turismo, I guess, at the moment. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it's a good addition to have. I can't quite figure out why more games aren't adding this, or at least replacing the previous M2 with the M2 Competition, now that this is kind of the one to have. But anyway, yeah, fun little car, good customization, not bad when upgraded, did reasonably well in this race, given I was spun out and given, well, it starts quite high performance points, I think, for what it is, given it was up against supercars with only a few upgrades. I think it did pretty well. And like I say, without a spin, it might have done slightly better. But anyway, that is going to do it for today's video, so thank you very much for watching, and I will be back with the next video very soon.